Today we will create a formula to sort our data based on values from drop-down list and based on the checkboxes. So I have created drop-down list with small safeguard that will remove previously chosen value, chosen column. So in the second drop-down list we will have only 3 values to choose from, and in the third only 2 values to choose from. This small safeguard lowers the possibility for the user to select twice the same column. It doesn't remove this possibility, it just makes it lower. Our solution, when we choose twice the same column, use first sorting order for this column. So for example, we have salesman and we have ascending order, but in the second column or drop down list we also have salesman, and now we choose descending order, but the first order, the more important is the first order. So when I select checkbox here, now I have descending order for salesman, and this checkbox doesn't change anything because we twice choose the same column. So we will assume we will be choosing different columns. Okay, and we also have those checkbox, and we can't find them in the newest Excel. We can just select cells, and then from insert tab we can add some checkboxes. I can delete those because I already insert our checkbox, and the most important thing here is behind those checkboxes we have logical values. False when the checkbox isn't checked, and true when the checkbox is checked. If you don't have these checkboxes yet, you can use checkboxes from developer tab. We can insert them here, form controls. So just click, then we have to draw it, and we have to draw because those checkboxes from developer tab have also place for text, but we don't need text, we just need those text boxes. So we need this square here, and we need to right click this checkbox and format control to link this checkbox with a cell. So we will check H4 cell to show the connect values. And now we don't have anything in this cell. We have to change the checkbox. So when we click once, we have checked checkbox, so we have true values, and when we click this checkbox again, we will have the false value. Okay, I don't need those checkboxes, so I will delete them, and we will start creating proper formula. And the main function for this formula will be sort function. First of all, we have to give her an array, so a range. So it will be this range. And for now, we don't have to add more arguments. When we don't add more arguments, the sort function will be sorting by the first column. So in our example, it's the column with dates, and we want to change this. So we will write, for example, 2 in the second argument of sort function. So we will be sorting by the salesman because this is the second column in our data. And now we have ascending order on salesman. When we want to change this default behavior from ascending to descending, we have to add the third argument, and we need to write here -1, and then we change default ascending order to descending order. Our sort function can also sort many columns at the same time. we just have to write an array or a range in second argument. And I will prefer here to write this in cells. So let's write, for example, here 2, 3, 4. So I want first of all select by the salesman, then product, and the third column will be sales. So I will be changing our formula from hard-coded 2 to this range. And now I am sorting by 3 columns: salesman, product, and sales. And each column is sorted by descending order. When we want to change this, we will have to add proper array or range for the numbers columns we are using. So we need 3 values: 1, 1, and -1, for example. And when I'm changing this sort order from 1 value to a range to an array, we will be sorting based on salesman ascending, product ascending, and sales are descending. We have to, for example, those cells are properly sorted. Okay, but now we want to go one step further. We want to change those values based on values chosen from drop-down list and based on the checkboxes. So how can we do it? First of all, we will delete those values, and now we'll be using match function to look up those values from drop-down list on the values from headers, and we need exact match. And based on that formula, we will have 3 results, and those results are a bit different than previous results because we first sorting by product column, then by salesman column, but the formula is working. And we will want to add one more small safeguard. When we don't choose a value from the drop-down list, when the drop-down list is empty, match function will return an error, and then the sort function will return also an error. So we have to safeguard for this. So we need to add just, for example, if error function, and then we have to add value for the column that will be sorted by default. So we cannot write here larger number than the number of columns because sort function will still return an error. So for example, I will choose our sales column, so the number 4, and this will be our default sorting order. Once again, when we have 2 exact same columns, the first column is the most important one, and the order here chosen is sorted by those values. We have to just change our hard-coded values to a formula that will be changed depending on the status of the checkboxes. So once again, delete hard-coded values, and this time we'll be using if function that will be looking on those cells, and if these cells are checked, so underneath there is true value, we want descending order, so -1, and in the situation if the checkbox isn't checked, we want default order, so 1, and we have our results. And one more information: when the checkbox is deleted, if function will return if false value, because the empty cell is treated like a 0, so we have 1 here. Now we can just copy this formula from those cells without equal sign to our main formula, and thanks to that we don't need those numbers to appear on the worksheet. So this argument also copy paste, and let's I need to insert checkbox here again, and drop down list sales descending order, and I will choose product first, and salesman, let's make them descending also. So our formula is working based on the values from drop down list and checkboxes.